In the next 10 minutes, I'll be introducing concepts in cognitive development, the study of educational psychology, and learner differences. These lessons stood out to me because of their applicability in the classroom as well as simply to my own daily life. Because of how personally applicable I found the lessons, we'll be examining each through the development of our friend here, Ella. The first stage that we'll go through is cognitive development. Now, according to Piaget, our friend Ella here will go through 4 stages. First, the sensory motor stage from 0 to 2 years of age, then the pre-operational stage from 3 to 6 years of age, then the concrete operational stage from 7 to 11, and finally, the formal operational stage from 11 years and on. The first stage is the sensory motor stage from 0 to 2 years. This sensory motor stage, according to Piaget, and summarized in Jay Atherton's article, Piaget's Developmental Theory, lasts from birth until 2 years. At this point, Ella can differentiate herself from objects, begins acting to please herself, and struggles with the concept of object permanence, the idea that things continue to exist even if they aren't sensed, until she finally gets it. Games such as Peekaboo help to solidify this concept. The pre-operational stage begins at the age of 3 and lasts until Ella is 7. In this time, she learns to use language to represent pictures and objects around her. She is still primarily egocentric and has difficulty seeing how things appear to others. Conservation, or the knowledge that equivalent amounts are consistent no matter the container or appearance, is a difficult concept at this stage, and Ella loves patterns. By the concrete operational stage, Ella is 7 to 11 years old and can now think logically about objects and events. She is able to work with manipulatives and worksheets to solve problems and can classify objects according to several features. Now, in Piaget's final stage, at 11 years and older, Ella can think logically about abstract ideas and hypotheses systematically and becomes concerned with the hypothetical, the future, and ideological problems, such as what she will do with her life and if God exists. This knowledge is vital for teachers especially, as knowing where one's students are developmentally, on average, allows them to set certain expectations of their students and cater their lessons to that developmental stage. Piaget theorized that cognitive development depended on schema, little boxes in the brain that store specific types of information and contribute to understanding. When Ella receives new information, she can either understand it by assimilating the new information into pre-existing schema, or accommodate it by creating a new schema for the information. Another theorist, Vygotsky, is noted for his concept of sociocultural development. According to him, Ella develops most as she watches and is thus taught by others. He supported co-constructing knowledge by co-cooperative learning in small groups. Vygotsky also developed the area between what a student is capable of and what they are capable of with help as a zone of proximal development. The way to bridge this gap is to scaffold up until the student reaches their potential through different learning styles, such as small groups, mentors, and assisted learning. This is valuable for teachers who can involve more small group and mentor involvement in their classrooms to help students scaffold their individual zones of proximal development. It also gives teachers the opportunity and advice to assess each student on a personal level and develop their own sense of where they can be with help. Now we'll move on to answer the question, what is learning? Answering this starts with the definition of educational psychology. As defined by dictionary.com, educational psychology is a branch of psychology concerned with developing effective educational techniques and dealing with psychological problems in schools. This means that Ella's classmates all have different learning styles, and that her teacher has to account for this in her lesson planning and class strategies. Educational psychology points to the fact that all students' light bulbs go off in different ways and for different reasons. While some connect best with books and science, others learn with music, art, math, or a number of other outlets. This is vital to the study of future educators, as in order to produce effective teaching, we must find the best ways to make learning a positive and engaging experience for all, in the hopes of fostering productive learning. In order to make learning more engaging for those who do not learn best or gain enjoyment from learning through the traditional forms of performing reading and math, Dan Myers, an innovative math teacher, has urged educators to perplex their students and get them interested in their studies by making them curious about the world around them. His ideas of intriguing students in order to get them to want to learn has been highly influential to my own future teaching style, and I look forward to perplexing students in the future. Our questioning learning then lends itself to our next topic quite well, as we'll explore some learner differences. When Ella entered school, she met all different children with all different ways of learning, some of which were very different than her own. Acronyms and words such as ADD, ADHD, and autism, including Down syndrome and Asperger's, were common in the classroom and playground. These learning differences are still others that, just as the other ones that we talked about, can make the teacher's job a little more complicated. Now, while these learning differences may make these children especially feel outside of their classroom and may make them harder to deal with, it is the teacher's job to accommodate these students just as well as she does the others. As learning differences such as ADD, ADHD, autism, Down syndrome, and Asperger's are being recognized more in the classroom, help is more readily available for teachers, and support is also easier to find. Examples of this exist, such as IEPs and 504 plans. An IEP, or the Individualized Education Program, is a formal legal document signed and agreed upon that shows that the student will get specific special services according to their needs. The process to get an IEP is long, involved, and lengthy, and requires a lot of teacher support. But the ultimate outcome that comes out of this gives a lot of support to children who might not get it and who definitely need it. Support for IEPs includes annual meetings with teachers, staff, parents, and the student to make sure that that student is getting everything that they require to make learning as good of an environment as it can be. And it makes learning tailored toward their individual needs. A 504 plan, on the other hand, is less of a legal document. This only gives accommodations to learners who need special help. 504 plans can include sitting near the front of the class for eyesight issues or sitting alone if need be. These accommodations, whether needed for test taking or for general school life, can make all the difference to how a student learns and behaves in a classroom without the lengthy process of getting an IEP. Acknowledging the existences of these learner differences and how to treat and support these children is vital for teachers to know, and I plan on knowing and having these skills to employ in my own classroom when the time comes. In this time, we focused on theories of cognitive development, learning as a concept, and learning differences as a whole, in ways that affect my future teaching, even as a student. These concepts are extremely important to know, and as future educators, it's on us to study ourselves how students work and how we can best help our students by preparing ourselves with information such as these theories. If my approximately 1 month of study in this field of educational psychology can influence my future classroom and my view of students this much. Imagine the impact continued studying and learning on the teacher side could have.